Good afternoon. This is Anthony Williams from Connected Athletics. We are excited to have our second podcast today. Today, we're with one of my favorite players, RJ Martinez from Westwood High School. You're going to hear from him in a second. But for those of you who are wondering what is this new venture that Coach Williams is doing, the new company is called Connected Athletics. And as you can see in our tagline, we are all about creating a platform that's going to connect athletes with coaches, athletes with other athletes to build up their network, and then helping them build their brand as they continue through high school, making the transition to college, and then either on to hopefully a pro career or to a career in a job that they want to do with their major. So we are excited once again that this is our second podcast of the day, and we want to get and help as many student athletes as we can out there. So if you are interested in being interviewed or coming on our podcast, just hit me on our Twitter or our Instagram feed and we'll get you on here. But right now, we've got somebody whose stock is kind of on the rise right now. And as I said, I've known this young man for a while and I've followed him. I'm a big fan. But RJ Martinez, how are you doing and what's going on with you today?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Coach. Just getting through with this whole quarantine process. Obviously, it's not a fun one, but it's something that we have to shape our lives around these days. So just getting schoolwork done because that's online now, and academics is important to me. So getting through with schoolwork just a minute ago, and then gonna hit my workout later today, and yeah, that's where my day's headed.
Great. So obviously we'll jump right in right there. We just talked about how this new COVID-19 environment is unprecedented before, but obviously kids like it's not going to stop me from grinding. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing as you're modifying your workouts to stay in shape and stuff with this COVID-19 environment.
Well, obviously with COVID-19, most parents and most people don't want to leave the house. So just trying to find things around the house that help me with my strength and my conditioning. So one of the things I did was I used the weights around my house and transformed my garage to a weight room. So things like dumbbells, curl bars, I have those things available to me. So I try to hit that, or I hit that every day, and things of that nature. And then as far as conditioning, because that's also important. You got to play all the way to the fourth quarter, and possibly into overtime, double overtime. I run a mile every day and do footwork ladder drills in my garage since I have a ladder. So I'm accessible. I have access to a lot of different things around my house that will be able to prepare me for the season, and I just try to use all that stuff that I have to better myself for the season. So I can come prepared for the season.
Sounds good. Well, I'm looking at your profile here that we have up so the coaches can see it, but I'm looking at that GPA, which is awesome, 4.0. You're at a very challenging school like Westwood. Tell us a little bit about your passion for your academics and what you plan to do to become an even better student when you get to the college level.
Yeah, academics obviously are big in my family and big on me. If you don't pass, you don't play. And I don't think that's good enough for me. So I try to be the best student I can be. I don't try to do the bare minimum and just pass. I try to be the best student possible. And that's a big thing throughout our whole family. I mean, my parents preach to me all the time. You have to get those grades up. They have to be excellent. And I truly believe they have to be excellent because if you want to be an excellent player, you got to be an excellent person. You got to be an excellent student also, because you're a student before an athlete. So I take it very serious. It's something I don't take lightly. I spend lots of time on my academics, and as far as that moving on into college, it's just going to be the same thing because I'm at a great school like Westwood that really helps me academically and challenges me academically, that being able to make that college jump, it's going to be a lot easier. I mean, it's not going to be a cakewalk, but being at Westwood has helped me tremendously, and I believe that it will help me for a smooth transition as far as academics into college.
So I also see that that 1050 SAT. I mean, for those that are watching, obviously your academics will open up your recruiting even more with you with the 4.0 and your 1050 SAT. Do you plan on taking the SAT or the ACT again to maybe get it higher? Because that's always going to just, the higher your GPA and test scores, the more opportunity you get. What you're thinking there?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I've talked it over with my parents and several people. I will be taking the SAT again because a lot of people say that if you improve the second time, no matter what. So I think it's worth a shot, and I'll obviously prepare for it because I feel I can do better on it, and doing more SAT prep and just preparing for it like I am a football game or anything like that, I think will definitely make that score a lot better and will set me up better for the future.
Great. Well, so now let's move to you as a football player. So tell us, you're a fast rising quarterback. Why don't you give us kind of your description? What are your strengths and weaknesses as a quarterback, and what are you working on as you go into your senior year?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of areas to improve in all aspects of my game. There's not one that that doesn't that makes it more than the other one. But one area that I do think that's my weakness is I'm very competitive. I want to win so bad, and there's a lot of things with being a competitor that it helps, and one thing that it lacks is player development. So sometimes I put a lot of pressure on myself that I feel being the competitor I have to do too much sometimes. So that also lacks player development around my teammates. So I feel like that's one of the weaknesses that I can get better on is helping my players develop as well as myself. And one of the strengths in me being a quarterback is that I am competitive and that I am a competitor, and that I don't want to be beat in really anything. So being that I don't want to be beat in anything, that gives me the edge on a lot of different teams and a lot of different quarterbacks, is that I will do what it takes to prepare for Saturday night, Friday night, and be prepared for that, because I am so competitive, and preparation, whether it be in the film room or being it physical, it isn't an issue because I'm a competitor.
Great. Sounds good. So what schools, let's go into it. What schools are you hearing from? I know you had some recent offers. Talk about those offers and talk about, your availability and who you're hearing from and who you'd like to hear from.
Yeah, well, I'm completely open to really any school, just really any school that is willing to take me under their wing and make me their guy. I'm totally open to whatever school is willing to do that for me. But obviously, staying close to Texas is pretty important to me because that's where all my family is, and I'd love for them to see me play on Saturdays. So schools like Oklahoma, Colorado State, Colorado, Baylor, I'd love to hear from those schools because they're close to home, and that's pretty important to me. But I'm completely open to really any school that's willing to take me under their wing and make me their guy, like I said. And I'm just really excited for whoever that school is.
Great. Well, I know you've been part of two great high school programs. You started at Lake Travis and transferred over to Westwood. Anthony Wood, Coach Anthony Wood is a good friend of mine. Talk to me about your relationship with the staff over at Westwood since you've been there these last couple of years.
Yeah, it's very strong. Obviously, coming from a great program like Lake Travis, my relationship there was strong. So building another one seemed like a hard task, but really wasn't. Coach Wood has been a great mentor to me on and off the field. He's developed me into a better quarterback and, most importantly, a better man throughout my years here at Westwood. And my relationship with all the coaches are very strong. I mean, I will be communicating with them throughout my entire life. So because they've had that big of an impact on me in my life, and I just couldn't thank them enough for their support and their prep and them helping me prepare for football and being the man I want to become. and it's so strong. And, I'm just so thankful to have them in my life.
So going forward here in your senior year, obviously your stocks will continue to rise. You'll probably get some more offers. Talk to us about who's going to be in your circle helping you make the decision on where you'll commit and why will those people, and I'm sure your parents, but who will those people be that's going to help you make the right decision on where you'll spend the next 4 years?
Yeah. So obviously I'm a man of faith. And so I'm gonna, leave it to God really. So he's going to be my most important supporter and where I land and, where I end up going. But as far as people here, obviously my parents, they've helped me along the way. They've helped me and supported me all the way up until this point and further on. So they'll have a big say in where I go, and they'll influence me a lot, as well as Coach Wood. He'll help me out a lot with that decision. And really my family in general, because ultimately I would love to allow them to see me play on Saturdays. So those would be the people that would definitely help me with my decision and would support me no matter what, but would help me decide because I am 17 years old. I don't know everything, so they definitely will help me and guide me in hopefully the right direction.
Great. Let's change it up a little bit. Tell us about RJ Martinez away from football and away from school. Who are you? What are you into when you're not playing football? Give us some insight into that.
All right, yeah. So like I said, I'm a man of faith. I think that's a big part of my life and shaped me to who I am today is my belief in God, and just that foundation has built me as a person and who I am today. Hobbies that I like to do. I'm an outdoors guy. I love being outdoors. I love going on the lake. I like hiking. I like fishing. I like going to my grandfather's ranch and, doing chores around his house. So I love doing those things. I love being outdoors. Obviously video games is, something most kids can't stray away from these days. So obviously that's something that's fun that I do, but mostly I'm outdoors and just doing things outside because, it's just great to get out there and just, experience nature and experience things with your friends, social interaction that you don't get from being inside all day. So, I love being outdoors and love being outside, and it's just really fun to me.
You mentioned video games. Obviously, that's a big thing for killing time. What games are you playing? Are you spending time on any specific apps like TikTok? I mean, what else are you doing for fun in your free time?
Well, no, I'm not on TikTok. That's not one of my main priorities like most kids. It's gotten crazy these days. But one game I do spend a lot of time in, obviously, is Madden. I love playing Madden. I mean, it's like playing football with your mind, with, guys like Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray, just running around and throwing the ball deep and stuff. But I love playing Madden because it's like another film session for fun. You're reading the same defenses that you'd read on Friday nights. You run mostly the same plays you run on Friday nights, and it just really helps me, and it's a fun way to enhance my mental state as far as knowing defenses and stuff.
Yeah. A big part of being successful in college is overcoming adversity. Think about a time, whether it be on the football field or something personally, where you've had some adversity, and what did you do to overcome it? That's something that college coaches like to evaluate players on. Give us some insight into that.
Yeah, so I would say one of the toughest parts of my life was probably the transition from Lake Travis to Westwood, because obviously there's a lot of variables coming from a great prestigious program like Lake Travis, and then coming to a whole new school and having to rebuild yourself and impress another coach is a hard task. And as far as school wise, knowing Westwood was a pretty heavily academic school, that was a tough change for sure. And so that transition from Lake Travis to Westwood wasn't the easiest one. And it did have a lot of and it was a lot of adversity because not knowing what would happen in the future. I had goals and aspirations to play Division I football or play college football back then, and coming to a whole new system with new coaches and new people, and just not knowing the future was very hard for me. But one thing that really helped me get through that time was just being able to control what you can control. A lot of people want to do more than what they, or worry about what they can't control, and that shouldn't be the main focus. As long as you're working hard, taking care of the classroom, doing everything you can to better yourself as a person, as a student, as a football player. I mean, there's really no, you'll really have no regrets with doing just that. So that's really what helped me get through that hard time, was knowing that, being able to control what I can control, and the only thing I could control was my work ethic and my effort, and my attitude towards attacking going to Westwood every day with a positive attitude, and knowing that as long as I do my job and my part, that things would work out the way they were supposed to work out. And so, yeah, just having a positive attitude and being able to build off that positive attitude really helped me get through that tough time.
Right. You know, one thing I love about being a former football player is the locker room, you know, and all the music, you know, guys with different genres. I know you got different playlists and whatnot. Tell me the top 3 songs in your favorite playlist. What genre you listen to, or what artists or what songs you listen to right now when you work out or in fun times?
Yeah. Well, as far as working out, you know, I love listening to Drake. He's obviously he's a good rapper. He's been here he's been at the top for a long time. So you can't deny Drake. He's really good.
Yep.
So I love Drake. You know, I like Eminem. He's an old guy. He's an older generation rapper, but you know, you can't really go wrong with Eminem. And I'm really a country guy. I love listening to country. You know, I love listening to some Garth Brooks, George Strait. You know, I love listening to that kind of music, and because it's, you know, relaxing, and listening to it all the time at my grandfather's ranch, and on my mom's side of the family. So and it just keeps me relaxed and just ready to go, and I love that music.
Give me an idea, what kind of learner are you in both classroom and in football? Obviously, you know, some people learn by hearing, some people learn by watching, and some people are visual learners, or you know, what they call physical learners, like, hey, coach, walk me through this. Give these coach an idea of, as a quarterback, how do you best learn? How would you say you best learn in the classroom, on the field?
Um, I think I'm a mixture of all three. I like watching it being done. If you tell me, you know, to do something, I will do it, and to the best of my ability. I learn that way. If you show me on film, hey, this is what they do on this coverage, you should hit this. If you put me out there on the field, you know, right after that, I'll be able to execute. And then also being able to visually see someone do it. That also really helps, and visually see where this linebacker goes on this coverage, and the spacing on this formation, just seeing those types of deals. Also, that's another way I learn. But I just think I'm a combination of all three
Mm-hmm.
of those, and I'm able to learn in all three of those ways.
Right. During your time either at Lake Travis your freshman year or here at Westwood recently, do you play any other sports, baseball, track? What are you doing besides football?
Yes, sir. Well, back at Lake Travis, I played basketball. I love basketball, and it was a good competitive game, that to stay competitive, obviously, because I would do select all the time, and just, you know, go on weekends and play tournaments and things like that. It's just a good way to stay competitive. And then I played baseball all the way up until freshman year, because obviously 7-on-7 started to come on the rise, and I couldn't be at both baseball and 7-on-7. So I had to go with 7-on-7, because ultimately my passion is football. And then going into sophomore to junior year, I chose not to play basketball, because I knew junior year would be a big year for me as far as football goes. And basketball season's 3 months long, and you know, that's 3 months of preparation away from football. And I didn't feel it was worth it, knowing that I could get better, a lot better, in the 3 months, both, you know, in the film room and physically. So that was my main focus, was football. And so I knew that was what I wanted to pursue in the future. So I just decided to go all football because I believe that being able to have those 3 months really helped me for this junior year, and the same going into senior year.
Right. Tell me, I know you got met your family, a great family. Obviously, I know Coach Wood, and you sound like you have a close relationship with your pastor at church. But give us an idea: who was the most influential person in your life, and who will also be influential as you move into transition into college?
Yeah, I could say a lot of people. A lot of people have positively influenced me throughout my life. Going to my quarterbacks coach, Coach Sean Rutherford. He played at Texas State. He's had a major positive influence in my life. Coach Wood. He took me under his wing um, and knew knew that there was something special in me, and really developed me into the player I am today, and as well as the man. But most importantly, I would say it's my two parents. Being my dad, he's the guy that keeps me humble and level-headed, and lets me know where my place is, and lets me know that you haven't made it, and I totally understand that I haven't made it. My goal isn't to my goal goes beyond going to college football. It goes into being a great father, being a great coworker, being a great leader, hopefully becoming a great NFL quarterback. Just it goes beyond things like that. So with me knowing that he keeps me humble and knows that I have a ton of work to do, and I agree. I couldn't agree any more with that, because I believe that I have a lot more work to do. And then my mom just being the supporter that she is, loving me through tough times, and just being there for comfort. So those would be really the two people that I would say positively impacted my life.
Right. Hey, as we finish up here, last couple questions. Obviously, you're playing 6A high school at Westwood, pretty competitive, but that jump to college is serious, and some of the best players in high school aren't successful in college. Tell the coaches who are going to watch this podcast, why do you think you will be successful as a quarterback at the college level?
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously, you see with every recruiting class, and quarterbacks come and go through high school, and either are great or fizzle out. What I believe, determines and what I can bring to the table at the next level is knowing that it comes through hard work. It comes through sacrifices, constant sacrifices. There's times where you want to go out with your friends, but I mean, you really can't, because you're at the quarterback position is the most looked at position, and the position that requires most work. And I know that. So with that being said, I feel I can bring hard work and things of that nature. I believe that that I won't just back down from competition. I love competition. So if there's another guy on campus, I won't let him beat me out, because I am a competitor. And if someone else comes into the school, I won't let them beat me out either. And if I do become the starting quarterback, make sure no one else will get the starting role, because we've seen time and time again with guys like Tom Brady, they just come in and beat out the starter and then become the starter and become great. So I wouldn't want that happen to me. So I would just continue to work hard and realize that that there's always the next season. If you win a championship one season, I mean, it's not guaranteed the next season. So with that mindset, I think that would separate me a lot from other quarterbacks, knowing that your success this season isn't going to guarantee your success next season. So with that mindset, I will work hard throughout that time, and I'll obviously always never be satisfied with how a season goes, or how I do, or anything like that.
Yeah. Hey, finish up lastly, what do you think is going to be the single most important factor in you choosing what school you'll spend the next 4 years at when you get to that level?
Obviously, being close to home is a big factor. I would love for my family to see me play every Saturday, because they've helped me get all the way up until this point. So that would mean a lot to me to be able for them to come and watch me play and just be there, because they deserve it just as much as me, because they've helped me out so much. And then obviously, as far as the football side goes, or what the college brings, just a coaching staff that really believes in my ability, and really believes that I can really be their guy and be the person to be the quarterback to lead them to where they want to go ultimately. That'll be really the deciding factor, is just the belief, if they're really bought into me or not, if they're really bought into my abilities and really believe that I can be their quarterback for a long time. That's really what will narrow down my decision and be the college that I choose.
Right. Hey, last question. So you're kind of a guy that's kind of went from flying below the radar to now who's gotten some offers. Who are some other either teammates or guys that you've gotten to know during the recruiting process that you say, hey, coach, some coaches need to get on these guys. They're flying below the radar like me, but they're going to be big time players. Who would you reference as we finish out here? Some other players in your class that you have respect for?
Yeah, no doubt. So I play for a organization here around Austin called Juice 77. So that's our Austin select team that recruits the best players in Austin. So, and I believe there's a lot of Austin talent here. We have guys that I've met personally here this past spring. Devin Turner, he goes to Cedar Ridge. I respect him. I think he's a really good receiver. He's got great ball skills. He's got great route running, and if you want the 50-50 ball, he'll catch it. So I think he's a guy that I really respect, and I love his work ethic. He works every day. I know he works. So he's a guy I respect throughout this recruiting process and throughout this the time that I'm here. Another guy I'd say is Trent. He's a class of 2022 guy. He goes to Del Valley. He's a great route runner, as well as he has great hands, and can also catch the 50-50 ball. And there's just a lot of talent really here in Austin that a lot of coaches and a lot of people don't really see. And they're phenomenal athletes, and I would put them up against really anyone else in the country as far as athletic ability and work ethic and everything like that. So those are just a few players that I would list that are flying below the radar, and that I would say that have my respect and that I've met throughout this recruiting process.
Great. Well, hey, RJ, I've always been a big fan. I want to thank you for trusting us to share your story. As I told you before we got on this podcast, nobody can tell your story better than you. And so I thank you for using our platform to tell your story. I know you're going to be successful because you come from a good family. You've got your head on right. You've got as you've heard me say many times at camps and events, faith, family, education, and football. You've got your priorities straight. So I know that you will be successful. We'll probably have you back again, but enjoy the rest of this time, and we'll see you in the fall.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, RJ. Have a good day.
You too.